the future course of what it does. The idea that it could operate on its own instructions is the stored program concept.
According to Armour, the stored program concept was the key intellectual idea behind the computer. And it's his inclination to credit that idea to an extraordinary Hungarian scientist named John von Neumann.
Von Neumann was one of my household gods. He walked into a room, he just radiated brilliance.
Others had tried historically to program instructions into machinery, punched cards for looms, for instance. Even with some program storage, though, the first true computers were hulking, primitive beasts, and their sets of instructions, their codes, their software, remained even more primitive. But von Neumann had provided the first spark of intelligence. Today, the programming goal is to make computers more user-friendly, to interact better with humans. What brings hardware and human together as spirited adversaries or allies is software.
The cottage industry model works because all you need in order to program is a computer, some operating systems, and enough knowledge to go ahead and develop a program. And so you literally can do it, in your own study or office or bedroom, wherever the computer is located. It doesn't take a high capital investment.
According to Carl Schmidt of Atari, his company hopes to parlay its strides toward user-friendliness, made via games, into more useful software packages. What's more, Atari will go out to the cottages to get them.
We have a very nice one called Family Finances. It was developed by a young man, had a family, wanted to do some budgeting, wanted to track how he was doing against his budget. He developed the program, brought it in, and we published it. It's doing very well.
The key word is published. Software has become more a matter of creative authorship than engineering. Not far up the Silicon Highway from Atari is Morrow Design, a manufacturer of microcomputers. Morrow is betting its small firm can compete with IBM and Digital Equipment in the small computer market. The reason, an emphasis on software that is bundled in with its hardware.
Computers, think of a computer as an automobile and think of software as the fuel. An automobile isn't very good if you can't get the fuel for it, or if that fuel costs 10 times more and didn't perform very well in the motor. So the important thing about computers is the software. Never mind the hardware.
George Morrow says most of the assembly of computer systems is a simple matter of putting together components made somewhere else. It's the human element, system design and software, that gives one product advantage over another.
The name of the game is utility. Deliver some bang for the buck. And to have a 24-cylinder motor, if you can't get gasoline for it, or if you have to use jet fuel, why, what the hell is the sense of having it, right?
So what can the fast laners down south tell us about our own fledgling software business across Lake Washington? First, that there are millions to be made, but that creativity isn't enough. Software has lagged behind hardware in reliability. Usefulness must be a criterion. We must marry the creative programmer with a sound business head, because the marketplace is already crowded and roaring. And user-friendly will probably be the latest computer buzzword.
What is user-friendly? User-friendly is when all of a sudden the barriers and the hurdles between that man-machine interface literally disappear. They don't exist.
These are the things you should do to write a good computer program. It doesn't guarantee a good computer program. There's a certain amount of creativity, I think, is part of it. Just like paint by the numbers don't necessarily make the world's best paintings.
The two factors that make computers the economic headline story of the 1980s are the declining cost of the hardware and the rapid improvements in the software, which will probably make most all of us friendly users in the next decade.
Software is going to change the interest level on the part of the professional and the person at home, because we're all of a sudden going to be able to break down the barriers of interfacing the machine and the individual.
If all goes well for Evans and Erickson, the dream of the first computer pioneers will have come true. The soul of the new machine will at last be us. Next week on this program, we'll look at high tech through the eyes of some of the Silicon Valley people you just met to see if it will work for us. We'll be right back.